here and support y'all through the TXTA. For those who are not aware, the TXTA, our primary mission is to be the unified voice for trucking within the state. If it's good or bad for your business, we want to make sure that we carry that message to our legislators on Capitol Hill in Austin and make sure they're listening to us, right? Our legislative session just started this week. I believe it just started on the 14th. We've already seen a lot of action, a lot of bills have been proposed, and the TXTA will be monitoring all of them in order to make sure that we can get that information out to our membership and be that unified voice. Get that information back. This is a good idea, this is a bad idea, etc. The primary focus for the TXTA this session is going to be legislative lawsuit reform, right? Tort reform is another term for it. We've seen in the past couple of years insurance rates for your businesses increase 200%, drastically, and that's making it very difficult for a lot of these businesses to operate in Texas. It's not something we want. Big focuses for lawsuit reform really come down to making sure that damages are appropriate and follow appropriate resources. We're seeing medical costs, for medical claims from accidents that are 8 to 10 times, what you would go to your standard doctor for a broken arm or a similar industry. We think that there are, how would I call it, potentially private investments, people who give a lawyer this money and say, hey, look, we have to sue for this amount so that I can have, that return on that investment. We don't want our legislative system to be, a place for profit, right? We want it to be a place for justice. We've heard a lot talked about overweight issues, right, and things of that nature. We are going to be investigating how we can safely, look at overweight corridors in this area or increases on fuel moving in from across the border. We've already seen a bill proposed to increase the gross vehicle weights for aggregates by about 15%. That's going to be something that we monitor and investigate to find out if that's something that we as an industry want to support. Furthermore, let me check my notes real quick, excuse me. When it comes to local enforcement, right, we see every legislative session, requests for, more enforcement for training of commercial vehicle inspectors, moving through Department of Public Safety. That is something that we do want to support. We know that there are a lot of people in these areas, and we want to make sure that we give law enforcement the tools that they need, but also make sure that they have the training in order to do that accurately and make sure that there aren't mistakes when it comes to enforcing commercial vehicles. So that's something that we'll be supporting as well. Towing is a big issue that we'll be looking at. We've already seen bills proposed for towing companies to put liens on the cargo in the event of an accident where they need to hook up so that they can ensure that they get paid. That's something that we'll investigate, but we're also going to be investigating predatory towing. You get hooked up and that bill is something that really doesn't make sense. We want to make sure that y'all have a voice and that just because you get into an accident or a fender bender that you don't have to shut down your doors or sell your truck just to get it off the side of the road. Really to wrap it up, this coming February the 26th, we have our call on call on the state capitol. We will be giving our membership an opportunity to go and meet with their representatives at the state capitol, talk with them face to face, shake hands. This is what my business needs. This is what your laws are doing to my business and what our constituents need from you. And we invite anybody who may be interested to join us late in February at the Texas State Capitol. I'd be happy to get y'all more information on that. Just find me, a little bit after this, and hopefully we'll see all y'all out there very quick.
Man, that was a flash. That was a flash one. Any questions for TXTA? ¿Alguna pregunta para TXTA? I know se está hablando un poco de lo que está a nivel estatal, el Capitolio, a nivel legislativo, para lo que viene siendo toda la industria del transporte y lo demás, pues él se lo puede explicar, porque no me voy a meter a detalles yo. Dante, yes, sir. So now we can start your questions. You guys can form, get your thing, get in line behind Dante, and we can start your questions.
So I'll start with, if it's all right, I got two questions, one for TXTA and then one for DPS. TXTA, as you know, insurance for our carriers has skyrocketed. You didn't talk about that. What is TXTA going to do about insurance, especially here in Texas? And how can we hopefully see that insurance rate come down? Because, I mean, I think everyone here in this room has seen their carrier rates insurance have to go double, triple, 10 times over the rate that it was, I mean, even going back just 8 years.
Definitely, great question, and I think that really falls underneath the lawsuit reform, right? When it comes down to being insured, that insurer is trying to cover all their bases for risk. If it's gonna cost you $1 million if you get into a lawsuit, then they need to be charging you more than that so that they can be financially solvent, right? So if we can reduce that, if we can make it harder for these predatory lawsuits, then we hope that works hand in hand with making it easier for these companies to insure us and do their jobs of actually, hey, look, if we get an accident, if we have a theft, et cetera, cover those things rather than having to take out huge premiums in order to be ready when, typically not if, you have that lawsuit.
Right, because that was the purpose of having surety bonds attached to your insurance in the first place anyway, so. Right, okay. Thank you very much. For